I were Eugene O'Neill, I could tell you what I really think of you two. You know, you're very fortunate the Theater Guild isn't putting this on. And so is the Guild. Pardon me while I have a strange interlude. Hey, you couple of baboons. What makes you think I'd marry either one of you? Strange how the wind blows tonight. It has a thin, eerie voice that reminds me of poor old Marsden. How happy I could be with either of these two if both of them just went away. Well, what do you say, girls? What do you say? Will you marry me?
But, Captain, which one of us?
Both of you. Let's all get married. This is my party. 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 Here I am talking of parties. I came down here for a party. What happens? Nothing. Not even ice cream. The gods look down and laugh. This would be a better world for children if the parents had to eat the spinach.
The average moviegoer in 1930 would have had no idea what the hell Groucho was going on about in that scene. Me and My Gal, on the other hand, was released only a few months after MGM's much publicized adaptation of Strange Interlude. So most people would have understood the parody even if they hadn't seen the movie. And it was the strange inner tube sequence that raised the most eyebrows. The Cincinnati Better Motion Picture Council complained that the sofa scene was the worst we've ever witnessed, the conversation being particularly offensive. One line was singled out.
Put up the lights and give her the works.
A manager in Arkansas called this kind of dialogue uncalled for. Another condemned the whole picture as absolutely no good. Dirty all through. But not everyone saw it that way. In Clyde, New York, the house roared at the scene. Evidently, they liked it. And in Rugby, North Dakota, the audience seemed to enjoy the smutty situation. Those who didn't walked out. Hi-hats, of course. Now let's see what was cut by local censor boards.
Jake.
And may the devil take the first one that goes between you. It's just a minute. Do you think a guy would drink 22 cups of coffee a day if there wasn't something the matter with him?
You better cut it out. Doesn't it keep you up nights?
Certainly it keeps me up nights. Will you marry me so I can get some sleep?
Maybe you're not as much in love as you think you are.
Maybe. Well, I'm closing in before you close up.
Just like that, you'll have to marry me.
What if I had a big slug of gin I could warm this day off? Say, not that light kind of bother your eyes?
No.
You don't? Well, it bothers mine a little bit. My eyes are all right, but a fellow's got a better chance in the dark. What are you thinking about?
Nothing. What I'm really thinking of is this guy the marrying kind, or is he just on the make? What are you so quiet about?
Oh, nothing. Well, this dame didn't make much of a squawk about that kiss. They got put out the lights and it works.
And then there was this. Production code watchdogs red flagged the excessive drinking in the Irish wedding scene.
good beer.
They worried that religiously minded censor boards would frown on the burlesquing of a wedding ceremony, but not one of the local censors even mentioned it, not even in very conservative and Catholic Quebec. The most censored scene was the detailed heist. New York, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Chicago, and Quebec all demanded extensive cuts. And another scene was singled out.
This is my wife. And this is my... And do you know what this is? Why, it's a revolver. Well, just be quiet and nobody's going to get hurt.
That pesky Cincinnati Better Motion Picture Council denounced it as a facsimile of a recent outrage in Chicago when occupants of an apartment building were terrorized by bandits. And what about this guy? London.
Oh, that reminds me. I've just saved 2 policemen from drowning. I'm a hero.
London-born character actor Will Stanton specialized in inebriates. His turn in Me and My Gal got lots of comments too. Why they had to have that drunken character, I cannot see. If the drunk and some of the smut had been left out, they would have gone over a lot better. Even a production code memo chimed in with, the scenes with the drunken man are prolonged endlessly. And 80 years later, in his definitive Tracy bio, my pal Jim Curtis was still complaining about Will Stanton's interminable drug routine. But not everyone hated him. A manager in Indiana called him one of the funniest drunks we have seen in some time. And Variety ended its review with this kudo. Whoever he is, the medal goes to him for doing one of the best stews of late on the screen. After March 1934, the start of the postcode era, movies couldn't be released without a certificate like this one. A year later, Tracy, now at MGM, was on his way to superstardom. So reissuing Me and My Gal made a lot of sense. In a memo to the new 20th Century Fox, dated October 8, 1935, the Code's iron-fisted Joe Breen detailed the cuts demanded for a postcode re-release of Me and My Gal. All the good stuff. 2 weeks later, Fox withdrew its application to reissue Me and My Gal and 16 other pre-code Fox titles. This letter then orders all existing prints of the 17 movies to be junked.
Wow.
Luckily, all of these films survive today thanks to preservation by the Museum of Modern Art, the UCLA Film and Television Archive, the Packard Humanities Institute, George Eastman Museum, and even part of our federal government, the Library of Congress. Let's hope it stays. Along with an aggressive preservation program at 20th Century Fox, led by Sean Belston, beginning in the 1990s. So pretty much the entire Fox library survives. The sound part, at least. Postscript. Me and My Gal wouldn't be the last teaming of Tracy and Bennett. 18 years later, they'd be reunited as husband and wife in a smash hit movie and its sequel. So make that Tracy and Hepburn 9, Tracy and Bennett 4. By the way, Joan Bennett's daughter, Shelley Wanger, is on our board of directors at Film Forum. And you may not know this, she's a book editor who was Joan Didion's editor. I just think that's a really nice, she edited all of Joan Didion's books. If you've never seen Animal Crackers in full, you can catch the whole thing on Saturday at 9:15 in Chinese 6, introduced by my friend Larry Karaszewski and his screenwriting partner Scott Alexander and Groucho's grandson Andy Marks. So, Jake, or whatever, thank you for coming. See you around the festival.